How's it going, everyone? Before here, welcome to Heliopolis Radio. Thank you all for tuning in. Today, we've been fortunate to be joined by Gal Ezra. He's the CEO of Empower Funding, the life coach, business coach, entrepreneur, and he's here to share a bit about himself, his personal journey, also what he offers others in terms of what he's learned and the experiences gained, which I feel will be invaluable to some, particularly knowing his background, which is quite special and unique. So, without further ado, I hand it over to you. Kind of tell us about yourself and kind of maybe share if you feel like this was kind of your type of destiny to forge your way and to kind of make your way through life.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And I really hope to give a ton of value to your listeners today. And yes, I always thought that this is how I was going to forge my life. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't destiny as in it was handed to me,
Mm,
but I had the viewpoint of I will make it happen. I will create it. So ever since I was about 2 or 3 years old, I said, I'm going to work with my father when I grow up at the age of 2. That was my thing. I never went through a phase of I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a chef or a firefighter or whatever. I'm going to work with my dad. I saw him being an entrepreneur and I want to do that. Now, I didn't know exactly what it meant in detail, but I knew that I'm here to work with him, to help him with his purpose. And the journey that I went on, which we can talk about in different ways, but I went on a path of not working with him at the beginning. I started my own businesses.
mm,
And then now, as of the last 5, 6 years, I mean, I actually always helped him in the background, but more so in the last 5, 6 years, I've merged into now working with him very closely, which is what I always wanted.
mm,
I just had to get some dirt under my own nails first, and before I could start to add value to what he was doing. So he's for many, many years been helping people. He gets people off drugs. He rehabilitates criminals.
mm,
He works with billionaires. He works with large companies, small companies. He does amazing things. And I was lucky to have him as my mentor. And that was my edge. I didn't have tons of money or huge opportunities. I created those on my own, but I had that knowledge that he gave me. And once I brought about my own success, I felt it's a must within me to do that for other people. And that's how I got to where I am today, which is I help people to make a lot of money and succeed in all parts of life. In fact, I say that my mission in life is to create 10,000 ethical millionaires. Not just millionaires, ethical millionaires, which means you're succeeding in every part of life, not just making money.
mm.
That's my mission.
So, it's amazing how you
Thank you.
really have a great like homage to those that have actually paved the way before you. Very few people get to live that tale, so it's amazing just to hear your insight on it. And I guess starting from scratch, because I mean, looking into your story and everything, you've been between the US and South Africa, but I understand there was a
Hmm.
certain period when you were actually stuck in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you mentioned some of us get thrown into the deep end, or you get put through trial by fire, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because yes, you didn't have a particularly the most affluent background, but you did have support structures that ultimately you could really rely on. And
Hmm.
um, what's amazing is the fact that you were told no, you must kind of step into the unknown with it. And just to be honest, I think if my dad had told me that, I would accept it, but I would deeply, deeply, deeply struggle for sure. So I guess maybe if you'd like to share basically how that story came about and what your mindset was and how you kind of overcame I guess, the fear and sadness of having to do it on your own, because that is a big task, because that's a lot of, you go from being a teenager to being a man, and that's very few people know, especially now today's world where we really have everything given to us. Most people who are fortunate enough, that jump and transition into I need to take care of my own business is very, very, very difficult. So I'm just curious to see what you did, what changes you had to make into your lifestyle, what kind of battles you faced, what lows, and how you managed to get something together to get things going.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I'll start with, and just make a tiny correction to what you said, look, I didn't have an affluent background. I'll be honest, I had a very affluent background. My parents were extremely successful,
Mm,
but that was not something I got to feed off of. Two
mm,
things. Number one, I had somebody write to me the other day when I posted about some part of my story, and they said, "Oh, I was sure you were a trust fund baby." I'm not. Yes, my family was successful, but they didn't give me what I've created.
mm,
So they didn't just give me money and a trust fund to, but I did have an affluent background. The second thing is, how did my parents make me so productive and build my own thing, even though I'm from an affluent background? Most kids, and I have many friends from very successful families, become snobby brats that try to do as little work as possible and mooch off of their family and not add any value to society. So how come I, that had an affluent background, number one, have an amazing relationship with my parents,
mm,
never went through a rebellious teenage phase, none of that. Super close,
mm.
never mooched off of them, and above and beyond, went and made my own success, built my own thing. How did I have that drive? So that's really the uniqueness. So on the one hand, when I was stuck in South Africa, and just to explain that really quickly, I had a visa renewal. I was born in South Africa, growing up in the US though. That's why I still have the accent. But I was
Mm,
born in South Africa, lived in South Africa until I was 7 to 19. I'm in the US. I live in the US.
mm,
19, I leave to renew my visa. Everything's legal. I go renew the visa to get a reapproval. But when I go to get reapproved, they said, no, you're no longer under your parents' visa. You're 19 now. You're on your own. And when you're on your
wow,
own, kid, you can't come in. So I
wow.
was like, what? So I'm stuck now outside the country. I didn't know this. I left for a short trip.
Mm,
All of a sudden, I can't go back home. Crazy. So I'm stuck, and I need to kind of make something happen. So of course, I said to Dad, "Hey, Dad, I need some money eventually, right? I need some money." And he was like, "No, you're gonna make this happen. I won't give you the money, but what I'll give you is knowledge. I'll teach you. I want to teach you so that you can make as much money as you want."
mm,
And he started to teach me. They say that, I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
yeah,
But if you teach him how to fish, he'll have fish for the rest of his life,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I think you eat for an entire lifetime. I know that one is a
Yes.
very, 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 very,
Yes.
very.
Now yes, but here's the thing. There's a flaw to that. There's a flaw. If I teach you how to fish, and that's all I teach you, then I make you into a fisherman for the rest of your life. You're stuck as a
Mm,
fisherman because it's all you know. It's all you know is to be a fisherman. So now I've made you into a stuck fisherman. What my dad said is, look, I don't want to teach you one thing. I want to teach you basic principles, basic knowledge that you need. So you can take that and you can be a fisherman or an architect or an event planner or a finance guy. You can do whatever you want because I'm teaching you the basics.
mm,
That's what he taught me. That is what I now teach my clients. How do you make a success in anything you touch? Because you know the powerful principles of which life and business is built. That's what I was taught, and that's what I teach. That's what I took ahead and started to create and create and create. And I started with nothing. I knew no one. I was in a country, had no friends practically. I was living with my grandma in her tiny little flat,
mm,
and I was just in a new country all of a sudden at 19 years old, nothing. Okay, what do?
mm,
I had one first principle, one major one that stuck out for me. And the principle was this: communication out equals communication in. If you don't have enough communication in, enough leads, enough business,
mm,
enough opportunities, enough invitations to parties, enough family invites, whatever you want to come in. If you don't have enough communication in, it's not because you don't have enough communication in. It's because you aren't communicating out enough. You're too quiet. You're not going out and meeting people and introducing yourself and writing to people and marketing and doing what it takes. Communication out, communication out, communication out. In my business, if we have a lull on the number of leads that come in, if there's a reduction on number of leads, all I say is, okay, increase the communication out, guys. Where can we communicate out to? Rewrite to all of our existing clients. Send out a couple of newsletters, many newsletters. Send out posts. Send communication out. The leads will happen. Don't worry. We're not trying to fix the lead problem. We're fixing our communication problem. We've been too quiet. So that principle was the first thing, the igniter to getting me out. So I start going out, I communicate out. I start to build a crazy network of people, actually. I started to meet people.
Wow. And so, okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, you obviously shared quite a bit there, and just even listening to you now, you're very, very. I don't know if you're an introvert because I don't know you in that archetype, but I'm guessing the fundamental principle towards like business itself is the ability to put yourself out there. There's just no way. I'm thinking that was literally the foundation and stepping stone that you needed. And I guess in our type of society, we have different type of entrepreneurs, different type of personalities. I don't think everyone has the same confidence you have. People may not have the same drive. So I guess what would your suggestion based around that principle of what you put out is what you put in if you lack the ability to communicate? Maybe you don't have the same foundation in English that you have. What would your suggestion to be that person that may be completely stuck in that place? I do maybe have a good business sense. I may know how to get a certain product or develop a certain product. I just don't have the out. And how do you, and you know South Africa, so you know doing business in South Africa, there are many hurdles and there are many factors that make people, number one being trust, obviously, because, you know, crime and everything and corruption. But what would your recommendation to the young entrepreneur who maybe has, again, the business acumen, just not the communication? And how do you get them to be confident to maybe even offload that to someone else and work with someone else that can be that?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things to answer on that. The first thing to know is, yes, you could get a business partner that's the one that goes out and markets more and does the networking. And for sure, there are businesses that have that. There's the guy who's more external, and there's the guy that's more behind the scenes building the product and whatever. You can, okay? But in reality, for most of the people, when you start, it's you. It's you and only you. And you got to make it happen. And what you need to do if you have any problem, if you have a problem in any area, it means that you're not controlling a part of that area. Would you agree?
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from.
Okay, if I have a car accident, I don't know how to drive. I'm not controlling driving. If I have a problem with communicating, I have some problem with controlling the subject of communication. If I have a problem with getting a girlfriend, then I have a problem with probably girls. I have some problem. There's something I'm not controlling on the subject of girls. I'm not bringing about a good result. I'm not controlling it. Now, control is not a bad thing. People think, oh, you're controlling, or don't be so, don't like, there's a bad connotation to control. Control is a great thing. Believe me, you want to control the car. If you don't control the car, you'll have an accident. You want to control your spending. If you don't control your spending, you'll go into debt. You want to control your body. If you don't control your body, you fall. So control is actually a good thing. And if you have a problem with something, it means you don't know how to control it. Like I, for example, am not a great mechanic with engines because I don't know how to control engines. It is what it is. If I have a problem with my engine, I don't know how to control it. If somebody has a problem with communication, you have a control problem. The control problem comes about from only one place: knowledge. There's something you don't know. If I don't know about engines, I can't control engines. I can't be a mechanic. If I don't know about dating, I won't control dating. I won't be a boyfriend. If I don't know how to drive, I won't control cars. I won't be a driver. So you need to learn. People that are listening that have a problem, it's not about, oh, I have a problem, now I'm on my back. I don't know how to communicate. I have an excuse. I'm an introvert. Or, oh, I have a second language barrier, so I can't communicate. So that's it. Let me just fall over and kick my legs and hands up, and I'm on my back and I give up because no. You have a control problem in that area, learn. You have to learn. And how do you learn? Again, that's what we teach. We teach people how to bring about their abilities. We teach communication. We have a whole communication course. We teach business. We teach control. We teach how to market. We teach a lot. You need to learn. You have to learn. And above all that, if it's what you need to do, if what you need to do to succeed is to communicate, then guess what? You better fall in love with it. Because if that's what you need to do, you got to love it. There's a very specific principle, another principle, which says you find out what you need to achieve. What's my end result? If I know my end result, I'll know what I need to do. If I know what I need to do, I do it. I make myself fall in love with doing it. So if you don't like to communicate, but you're trying to start a business and part in communication is what you need to do, start to love it. You control your own feelings. It's not, oh, I just don't love it. No, you control your own feelings. Decide that from today you like communicating, because at some point you decided that you don't like communicating. So maybe try to decide something different.
Here you go. And I guess you mentioned also acquiring knowledge, which is a very interesting thing. I don't know, my mic is just giving a bit of an echo. I apologize. But there's an interesting thing, a dynamic, and I'm sure you probably, with a lot of the entrepreneurs that you meet and that you're probably the successful ones that you know, it's the concept around education and getting the necessary skill set. We live in a very interesting age, the digital age, obviously. And there's obviously one end of the spectrum that say going to school is important. Getting a foundational knowledge and a degree is important for many reasons, valid reasons. Others say it's a disguised money grab, or it's not ultimately leading you to your end goal. It might actually derail you, and you might as well do what you want to do immediately, like throw yourself into the fire, make mistakes, go forward. It's interesting because usually when we get two bouts of wisdom. We get wisdom from those that have succeeded in both ends and both work. So I guess in your mind, for someone who's young, particularly in our age with AI, this whole kind of shift that's going on for young entrepreneurs and old ones actually moving into it. What is your take on the need for knowledge and skills? Is it one where you do what's necessary to get to your end goal? Or are you practical with your finances? If going and getting an education compromises your business, what you could invest in your business or what you could leverage somewhere else using AI, what kind of avenue? Because we live in a very tricky world, and it's very niche now, by the way. So everyone wants to be like a lot more people want that freedom. A lot more people don't want to be working a 9 to 5. Most people actually don't want to. So it's just created this whole kind of, and I'm sure you see it online on Instagram, this course, take that course, take this course. Not that there's bad, but there's just so much information overload as to what to do. I always believe a focused and clear mind, and I'm not one of those, but I guess principally I believe that a focused and clear mind takes the very, very minimal and makes the maximum out of it. So I guess with what you have achieved, the success for yourself, what is your take on that and what is your advice?
Yeah, very good question. First of all, what we do often is we figure out, hey, what do I need to do? Right? I need to see what I need to do. Or what do I want to be? So you go to a kid and you ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or you go to a kid and you say, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or what you're saying is, hey, what do I need to do? Should I go and study, or should I do something else with my money? Or I want to be an entrepreneur. So all of those are actually asking the wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
The right question is not what you want to do, not what you want to be. Be an entrepreneur, do studies, not irrelevant. What I want to know is what do you want to have? What do you want to have? What's the end result? What do you want to have? I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay, what that doesn't tell me what you want to have. It tells me your title,
Mm.
entrepreneur. Cool. Well, what's the result? Oh, I want to do business. Cool. Well, to what end? What's the result? But if you come to me and you say, look, I want to have healed people through any sickness. I want to have healed people through any sickness. I want to have people that came to me better than they were when they started physically. Then I'll say, so what you want to be is a doctor. Okay. So I understand what you want to have is healed people. You want to heal people. You want to physically help people on a really on a heal and physical on a healing level, on a physical level. If that's the end result, well, guess what? What you need to do is go to university because you can't be a doctor without doing university. It's just impossible. That's the correct route for you. Oh, I want to have books that are accurately kept up to date, with my creditors very pleased, and all accounting accurately noted. That's what you want to have. So you want to be an accountant. If you want to be an accountant, well, then yes, you need to go to university. You understand? If you know what you want to have, I want to have a secure lifestyle where I work 9 to 5. Okay, so you want to be an employee. That's not an entrepreneur. You want to be secure. You want to work 9 to 5. You want that sort of lifestyle. And there's a lot more to dissect on what you want to have. But that will indicate to you what do you need to do. If you want to have a business that does X, Y, Z, you have some vision of what you want to go and produce. C, do you need university for it? A lot of university is not necessary because you can just go in and do actions that will get you closer to what you want to have without university. Sometimes university is a must. If you want to be an employee in a certain type of company, they won't hire you without a degree. If you want to be an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, you have to go to university. So it all depends on what's the end result. And one of the things that you can do, one of the things that your listeners can do, is write a whole list, a detailed list of what they would want to have on every category of life. What business do you want to have? What home would you want to have? What lifestyle would you want to have? What partner would you want to have? Romantic partner. What children would you want to have? What friends do you want to have? What physical body, health-wise, would you want to have? Write down in detail, a major list of what life looks like for you in the perfect picture perfect, detailed list of what you want to have if there was no limitations. Based on that being very, 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 very clear, based on that, you'll understand, okay, to have that, here's what I need to do.
Yeah, no, I hear
And
you,
then
man.
you'll see, is university part of it or not, right?
Thank you for elaborating that. It's interesting. A lot of people
You're
don't
welcome.
actually think about the ends as the clue to how to the means. So it's always
Correct.
interesting. So it's actually always the inverse way. And
Correct.
obviously, you have had successful businesses. So I think two fundamental questions, three actually, I would like to ask. Not fundamental, but important questions.
Mm-hmm.
How was it actually making? I know it's a very, very typical. But how was it making your first million? And second is just how hard is it? How much do people underestimate how hard it actually is to make that first million? Because I think I saw this chart. I don't know, he was an entrepreneur. He broke it down. He says making your first 5,000 is extremely difficult. Getting to 100,000 is incredibly difficult. Getting to a million is quite difficult. Getting past a million is quite easy. And he talks about this whole exponential factor, which is how this effort compounds into a system that actually just and people don't fathom it because of the work part. He says that in between, that hell in between is where people just don't want to be. So I guess,
Hmm.
which is why I asked, just how hard was it? And do
Yeah.
people, because, entrepreneurship is for everyone. Do you think it is for everybody to go through what you had to go through? Do you think anyone can go through that process, or is for a specific individual with a certain quality trait that that is very necessary? And I guess the third question, which is above all, is in the end, what does it mean to you? Because you've achieved your goals. How did you kind of, I guess, tie that back into fulfillment? Because
Hmm.
you have the money now, and I'm sure it comes with a whole lot of benefits and problems, right? Because people will be like, okay, Gal's the guy now. We can, and this and that. And some people, as you mentioned, you get people that comment in the social media posts. You get a whole lot of it. So I guess you're in an interesting space because you're seeing it from the top looking down. A lot of people are at the ground looking up and they're like, oh, wow, if I had that million, if I just did this, life would be, we all have these because we're you're in the trenches type thing. So I guess this question would be interesting because a lot of people would get an understanding of what it takes and what it actually means. So I leave that question with you. I hope it didn't cut you out, eh?
Oh, sorry, I lost you. Now you're back. I
Yeah.
heard you say we all have that, and then it cut out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. So we all have that desire to have what someone else has. We see the lifestyle, we see the traveling vacations, but I've always been interested because I've interviewed a few successful individuals, and it always amazes me how distant they are from what they've achieved and how they actually are actually longing for something or constantly seeking deeper meanings. They can like, we can talk about how I made the money and everything, but it's like it doesn't matter to them, which is always interesting because it's like, is that really what it is at that point when you've achieved? So I guess I won't ask anymore because it's not my place to speak, but I should ask you from your perspective, from your experience, how hard was it? Can anyone do it? And what does it mean in the end once you've achieved it?
Okay, few things. First of all, every single person has the ability to create a lot of money. Every listener can create a lot of money, but money is secondary to providing value, helping. If I help, I'll get paid. So helping is not, people think, oh, if I help you, it means help is for free. No, help is not for free. Help is something that has the foundational basics in this world of give and take. If I give you, give you, give you, give you, give you, I will destroy you. You look at, we spoke about children of rich parents become brats because their parents give them, give them, give them, give them, give them, and the kid goes crazy.
Mm,
But if I give you, you give me. You build up your value because you help me.
mm,
I give you, I help you. You give me, you help me, and there's a growth.
mm,
So help is I help you, you pay me. Or it doesn't have to be money. It can be other types of help in return. Okay. So there's always that give and take. If that's happening, money will happen. If you provide value, the money comes. Everybody has the ability to give a ton more value in this world than they're giving, which means you can make much more money. Is everybody cut out to be an entrepreneur? No, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot, which leads us to the question of how much work is it? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and it's nonstop work.
mm,
But when I say that I work hard, and I do work hard, very hard, what hard means, if you actually open a dictionary, you check, one of the definitions of the word hard is actually defined as enthusiastically and with great energy. So I work hard, meaning I work with a lot of enthusiasm
mm,
and a lot of energy. That's what hard work means. I'm not working hard like carrying stones on my back and working in the sun. Like, what do we entrepreneurs do? We sit at coffee shops, we sit in the office in an air conditioned room, we're on our laptops. Life is easy, and people complain about, oh, I worked many hours. Like, I worked today, for example, will be a 17, 18-hour workday today. Okay. I just before this, I did a 2-hour training for my, I have a mentorship group that I mentor. I mentor a group of people. I'm with them for 2 hours working with them. It's a lot of teaching. Most people after that, they fall asleep. It's like it tires them out. I did that. Now I'm doing this interview. After this, I have my own podcast that I'm doing an episode for live. So today's an 18-hour day. So yes, I put in the hours, but what's so hard? I'm in an air-conditioned room. I had a few cappuccinos today. I am like, this is hard? No, I'm just working and I enjoy it. So yes, it takes a lot of hard work, but it has to be enthusiastic work.
Mm.
So most people like to make a whole big show of how hard they work. Yeah, you have to put in the hours, and yes, you have to travel and you have to do all kinds of things and there's challenges. Sure, you got to stay enthusiastic though. That's the big key. And it's very worth it. It's very worth it. But you have to be cut out to do that.
Mm.
If you're not, then no, it's maybe not as much for you.
Wow. And I guess um, just coming back to it, business principles that are the deciding factor. If you already mentioned the first one, obviously quite early on, you mentioned quite a few others. But I guess looking at the world in 2025, realistically speaking, economically, and I've spoken to a lot of people because it's a mindset thing. So I'm not going to promote, I won't say it negatively, but I will say it realistically. We have geopolitical tension, we have political shifts that affect the nature of business and interactions and the way people perceive each other, right? People now have a different kind of, and we're coming out of COVID, we're coming out of a whole, our world is really not the same. You started your business 2013. God, I missed that world in 2013. um,
Uh-huh.
but I for sure as well am entertained by the world in 2025. And so we've
Yeah.
just gone through that shift from, loving to just being entertained by what we see, by, the madness, the chaos. At least that's how you survive it. So we have a generation of people, young people upcoming, who have a bit of I don't want to say nihilistic perspective, but they don't have a lot of optimism simply because the environment is so volatile. Obviously, for entrepreneurs like you, this is the perfect time. This is the most fun time. um, what is your perspective, and how do you think people should, what type of mindset and I guess business principles should we go into now? We also just to add on to that, the traditional workforce is seemingly on the way out. AI is coming in, doing everything. So blue collar jobs, even like mine for the most part, maybe they have a few years left and then, who knows what's next. So it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of frustration, it's a lot of competing with each other, and a lot of just maybe not knowing where to go. So I guess if you were to go turn back the clock, bring your young version self into today's world, what would you be looking at? How would you be assessing the environment, and what would you be thinking? What's next? I know it's quite a
Yeah.
weird question, but I thought I would ask. I don't know if it was.
Yeah. I'm going to come at it from a slightly different angle. Okay. So here's the thing. Everybody has one area that they should invest in this economy. Okay. And people always ask me, where should I invest my money? I made my first, I don't know, $20,000, $50,000, whatever. Forget about dollars. 20,000 rand,
Mm,
50,000 rand. What should I do? Maybe I should invest in crypto, or maybe real estate, or maybe I should, do invest in an AI startup, or
mm,
where should I invest my money? Buy gold. There's one investment that's the most important one, and it is investing in yourself. Sounds cheesy, but most
mm,
people don't get what it means. They've heard, yes, you need to invest in yourself, but they don't know what that actually means, okay? And why it's so important. Investing in yourself is actually the one thing that can never be taken away. It's the one thing that you can bring endless results in, and it's the one thing that pays back infinitely. So if I, for example, teach you how to be a better salesman, and you invest in yourself and you become a better salesman, you use it forever. It's infinite money that you can make from it, and it can never be taken away from you. You don't rely on anyone. There's no risk, nothing. So that's on the one hand. But the real thing that's happening is this. People And why do I tell people that they need to invest in themselves? Because every listener that's listening to this is under attack. Everyone is under attack. And it comes in the form of visible things and in the form of things that you don't see at all that is affecting every person and weakening them. You see a deterioration in society in general with people around you. You even see people that used to be really sane and logical, and somehow they're not so sane and not so logical today. Friends of yours, family members, and you're like, what's going on? It's like they lost a part of themselves. People are under an attack, and that attack comes in the form of a few different areas. The first one is a degradation of the education system. Somebody that came out at 18 years old from the education system today, it's worse than 18 years ago, and it's worse than 18 years before that. The education system is deteriorating fast.
Oh, I hope it didn't cut you out here again.
Major problem in society today is that, oh, did I lose you or are you there?
No,
Did I
no,
lose
I
you or are you
know,
there?
no, you're there. You just said it's deteriorating fast, but I think it just came back on time.
Okay, so it's deteriorating fast. The second thing is that the society is heavily pushed to being drugged.
For sure.
Drugs are majorly promoted as being okay. Weed is acceptable. Pharmaceuticals are acceptable. Party drugs are acceptable. It's becoming okay to be a drugged society. And what people don't notice is that that destroys them completely, and then they don't know why. A few years later, they can't sleep at night. They have worries, they have anxieties, they don't know, all kinds of stuff kicks in. Don't know from where. Drugs are horrible. The third way is that there's a destruction of religion or of a moral code. I'm not that religious, but I follow a moral code and I like the values of religion. There's a destruction of religion and there's a destruction of the family unit. Major destruction of this idea of being a family unit. All that together makes people weak. They're drugged. Oh, and the other thing, by the way, a side note, is that there's also a destruction of food, of nutrition.
100%.
That's a side note.
100%.
So people are not getting the right nourishment, uneducated, drugged, have no moral compass, and don't have a strong family unit, and they're trying to go and start a business or compete with the shifts of the world. AI is coming, and all kinds of things are changing, and they're like a little leaf in the wind with no backbone, no moral code, drugged out of their head, constantly high, not educated. That's what I'm talking about when I say invest in yourself. Invest in yourself means, first of all, get off the drugs. Period. No drugs. Ever. Stop it. Second thing is be healthy. Physically, you need to take care of your body. Thirdly, find what's right for you ethically and morally. Maybe it's religion, whatever it is. Get some kind of a moral compass. Do the right thing. Fourth, have a family unit. Strive to have a family, not to go and be a playboy. I don't mind if you want to be a playboy for a couple of years, maybe. I'm not advocating for it, but I get it out of your system for a quick bit. Go to get a family. And don't be a playboy, by the way. I'm not actually advocating for that, but I'm saying you can date around, meet people, fine. It's part of dating. But with the purpose of finding a family, creating a family, and most important, get educated, not with the main school systems, unless you need to be a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. But you need to learn about who you are. You need to learn the principles of life. You need to learn how business works. You need to get mindset tools that can't be taken away from you. And that's how you'll compete in the business world, in the AI world, and whatever comes your way. If you don't do that, good luck. Good luck. And that's exactly what we do. By the way, at Guaranteed Prosperity, we empower people with those tools. That's what I was taught. That's why I feel like it's a must to teach others. Because if I didn't get that back in 2012, 2011, when I went to my dad and asked for money and he said, no, I'm going to teach you. If I didn't get that, I would not be speaking to you here today. I would be who knows where. Wouldn't be pretty. I don't know. It wouldn't be pretty. I'd be like, and how do I know? Because I look around at most people my age, and they're depressed, anxious, worried, trying to calm down with the weed at night, can't sleep. Whew, they're in terrible condition. It's not right. It shouldn't be that way. You should be powerful, excited, putting the future there, handling what comes your way. So that's what we do. That's what I do for people.
No, wise words indeed, and thank you, Carl, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And obviously, I don't want to keep you too long. You have a schedule to attend to, so for time's sake, I will kind of try summon up your podcast, your coaching program. How does it work? Is it for everyone? Everyone's obviously in a different place, mentally, physically, and financially. So how do they reach out to you? And I guess, are they the nature of accommodation they'll receive? Obviously, we're in South Africa, so our demographic, what we're going through, how our mindset is. But yes, and then is it a program that's cross borders? Is it via Zoom? Is it via physical meetups? And also, how can people reach out to engage with you? Obviously, in a safe and conducive manner, not spamming you and wasting your time.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
If you can maybe just read.
Yeah, with pleasure. Yeah, so couple things. Number one, you should follow me at Gal Ezra on Instagram. I'm always putting out helpful content. I'm sure you'll put the link somewhere, or follow my company, G Prosperity Now, which is also on Instagram, on all platforms, by the way, Gal Ezra or G Prosperity Now. And we post helpful content all the time. G Prosperity stands for guaranteed prosperity. Everything I do is guaranteed. If I'm going to teach you how to market, I guarantee my results. And I don't just give you a money back guarantee. I give you money back guarantee. And what I mean, if you spend 10,000 Rand with me and my program doesn't help you, I don't give you back 10,000 Rand. I give you back 10,000 Rand plus 1,000 Rand for wasting your time. I pay you money back. I'm going to give you what you paid plus 10% for wasting your time. That's my guarantee. Nobody does that. So follow us on all platforms, and that's the first thing. What I'll do for any listener, if you DM me on Instagram and tell me that you listened to this podcast, okay? If you just DM me, tell me that you were on this podcast, I'm going to send you a gift worth $350 immediately. Okay? It's a 7,000 Rand more or less gift. Just tell me you listened to this podcast. Now, that's my gift, okay, to you for coming to the end, to listening all the way to the end. I have something amazing, a recording that you can listen to that people pay for, $350. You will listen to it. You'll see it'll change your life and your business and your income. So that's my gift. But how do people work with me generally? I have a program called Success Engineering. I take anyone, anywhere in the world, at all levels. I have 85-year-old women. I have people that have one-man businesses. I have successful entrepreneurs. I have young, cool, awesome guys and girls. I have whatever, all types of people on the program, because every person wants their success to happen, and I engineer your success. People come to me with family problems. They come to me with business problems. They come to me with mental health problems. They come to me with all kinds of things. I will engineer a program for you so that you have success in that area and beyond. The first thing I do, I don't guess. I have a series of specific tests that you will do as part of the program. Yes, it costs money. We're very expensive. I'll tell you that up front. But the success engineering program is actually affordable. If you're interested, write to me. It's actually very affordable for almost anyone. But what we do at the very beginning is I will do a series of tests with you to actually discover the precision point of why you're having difficulty in that area. It's not guesswork, it's precise. Once I have that, I will give you a tailor-made program for you to learn, because you need to learn. You will learn it, and all of a sudden, immediately, the first day that you're learning, you'll tell me, wow, this is different. I can see that I'm improving. I never knew this. This is whoever listened to this podcast heard things that they've never heard anywhere else. Like that, but 10 times more, 1,000 times more, and we start to bring about success. So that program is as little as $99 a week, okay? Or $297 a month, $297. So even you get 1 week off, basically, if you do the monthly program. That's it. You sign up. You get infinite amount of knowledge, specialized testing, all kinds of stuff. And that's how I work with people. It's the best money that anybody can spend. And that's the success engineering program. Other programs like mine are thousands, $1,500 a week.
Mm.
Sorry, a month. I've seen programs about 1,500, 2,500 a month. I made it very affordable. My one-on-one coaching, expensive, $500 an hour,
Yeah.
one-on-one with me. My program that I open to specific people that reach out to me, not everybody gets accepted. I've made it $297 a month. Anybody can afford it. And if it wasn't amazing for you, you'll get your money back plus 10%.
No, firstly, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that
You're
information.
welcome.
I'll do my best to relay it. Obviously, once the podcast is done, you can also share it with the relevant
Sure.
audience. And then
What you
hopefully,
can do is just, all you need to do is share my socials. If somebody's interested, just DM me. I'll direct you.
thank you so much. And I guess just kind of summing it up, firstly, thank you for giving your time. Thank you for sharing. It was very concise and it's very, very, very direct and straightforward in a way that it makes sense to people. So I'm hoping those tuning in, they really took it. And obviously, we live in a world of insecurity, so it can be overwhelming to people. But I hope people aren't overwhelmed, but rather inspired to kind of look within
Yeah.
themselves, step out of their comfort zones, and also for entrepreneurs, those of you with the financial resources, it doesn't hurt to explore yourself. And like you said, if things work, they work. If they don't, they don't. Life is like that. But
And
I
by the way,
guess,
I will say that we have, if you're interested and you don't right now have the financial resources, we have probably 200 hours of no, sorry, let me rephrase that. Probably about 700 hours, I'm not exaggerating, of free content, free courses, amazing, powerful programs, free, mind-blowing podcasts that you can listen to from us about many subjects, from mental health to imposter syndrome to how to get investors, how to start a business, all kinds of free stuff. So if you're not in the means to have a program where I'm working with you, do our free stuff, and I'm happy to direct you to that as well.
oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess the last question is, what are your words of wisdom and advice for the audience tuning in today?
Yes. So my advice is that the definition of the word success, which everybody wants to be successful, I'm sure. But if you ask yourself, what is success? Many people will have different answers. I define success, actually, this is something that my dad taught me. Success is the sum, adding up, sum, S-U-M, the sum of validated, meaning you say, well done, validate. Hey, this is good. I give it value. Improvements. The sum of validated improvements. You have an improvement, you validate yourself. Well done. You have another thing that went well. Well done. You have another thing that went well. Hey, you cheer for yourself. That is success. Validated improvement, validated improvement, validated improvement. Many small improvements. All of a sudden, whoa, I'm succeeding. What do most people do? They have the sum of all the spotted flaws. They all day long are detectives of flaws in themselves. Most people. Most people look in the mirror, they find flaws with their face. They look back at their day, they find flaws with their day. They look back at their business day, what they did at work or in their business, and they say, I didn't do this and I didn't close that deal, and that person never responded, and nobody liked my post on social media, and bad. Flip it. Look at the sum of validated improvements. Become a radar for where did things go well, write them down or say well done to yourself or tell people about it. That should be your focus. Ignore. You've done enough of finding the flaws. You've done enough. Ignore it. Start to find the improvements. That will be what success actually is. So that's my final words of wisdom.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. You're wise beyond your years, for sure.
Thank
And
you.
we give thanks to your dad for actually bringing in a very productive and, I guess I would say, inspiring individual into society. As you
Thank you.
mentioned, we are in a dark kind of space and we need more individuals like you. That was the purpose why this podcast was, well, two purposes. This was one of the main reasons. The second one is a bit more transpersonal, but it is to have a space where we can actually bring some positive light and some insight and also
I
bringing
love that.
together people of knowledge, of understanding, and of obviously sobriety. which is
Mm-hmm.
a very big one. But no, I appreciate you, brother, and wishing you the best with your business. You already have the skill set. You've already achieved it anyway, so you don't really need that, but we'll still do it regardless.
I appreciate it greatly. It means a lot.
And my job is just to promote the podcast accordingly. So I'll do my best in that department. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be on.